talk about what starts, what doesn't. You push that go button and you got this lag time. Let's talk one moment and just take a look at what is lag time. What does that actually mean? It means we've got everything in place. We've pushed go and
Mm-hmm.
then we wait. What
Yeah, I'm
not
gonna ask.
realizing that
We've
the
got.
energy of the go button is just that. It's making you go, but it takes a while to catch up with the instrumentation to say, oh, there I am on there. And I've been just like staring into it, wondering if it was going to start or not start when it already did. So, how do you do that with your life? Think about that. When you get ready to put an activity in action, do you hesitate or do you just go? Because that's how you do everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So think about that. Are you having a hesitation? Everything in life is a vibration, is a frequency, is a movement of some sort. Everything out here in space is a movement. You're either moving or you're not. And even when you think you're not moving, you're moving. How crazy is
So
that?
true. That's so true. You're always energy. You're always moving. You're always changing and transforming, right?
Right. Right. So you have your autonomic, system in your body, and that's like your heart, your lungs, all of those major organs in your body. They're moving all the time. They're functioning, right? Whether you know it or not. Because if you hold your breath, what happens? You hold it long enough and everything will stop. Right?
Ooh, say that.
So energy is a very interesting subject. And frequencies are what make energy up. So everything is a frequency. Every word, every tone, every elevation, every low elevation, so all of these different sounds are different frequencies. Every movement is a different frequency. And when you begin to understand the depth of what energy is and what vibrational frequency is. Vibration is the movement. Frequency is the actual like strike, kind of like the electrical current of a lightning strike, right? Or
Mhm.
when you flip the switch, or like you have static energy, right? How many times have you had static, and you touch something and you get shocked and you're like, right?
Yeah, when you scoot across the carpet.
Yeah, you take a little balloon as a kid. Remember, you took a balloon on your hair, and your hair is sticking out. You go up, you touch somebody, bzz, so those are all frequencies. That's static electricity, right? So electricity is just a form of frequency. But when we look at frequency from the science aspect and actually from a health aspect, each one of our organs resonates at a certain frequency. And when the body begins to slow down, or Houston starts having some problems in here, and that organ isn't functioning up to 100%, there's a break in the frequency. So it's like your neurological system becomes your electrical current, because it's what flows and takes everything, takes all the messages out and all the charges to ping here and ping there to keep that frequency going. So when there's a short in it, it's no different than if there's a short in your plug-in, right? You just don't see it happening inside of here. Well, the longer those shorts happen and then more of them do, the body begins to break down. So when you look at frequency medicine, is what they call it, or vibrational medicine, it's just taking and capturing those frequencies. Now, back in the 20s, Tesla did a lot with frequency. Rife did a lot with frequency, right? And so did Edison. So did, a lot of these scientists back then were just testing the waters. They didn't know. They were watching nature, and then they tried to capture that and harness it and direct it in a certain way. And wow. Then you go back to the shamans,
Mhm.
right? and back even into Victorian time, you go back into the Egyptian time, and what they were doing with frequencies and vibration, and how they used it um, in their form of medicine back then, as how they helped people to overcome different dysfunctional things in the organs of their physical vessel. So today we've got different equipment, and with the technology getting more and more
Mm.
precise, we can walk around with a little 2.5 inch piece of equipment that is like fabulous. So what it can do, because again, when you invite those frequencies into your body, they begin to shift, and they take that electrical current in your body, and instead of things shortening out, they just kind of piece it back together as if it were a cord in a socket, and now it can flow. And so when your energy is flowing, when those frequencies are flowing through every organ, through your blood, through your oxygen, and all that kind of stuff, you begin to feel better. When
Mm.
you feel better inside, you feel better outside.
Right? 100%.
Yeah. So you
100%.
have your quantum field, which is the energy you walk around and exist in, and then next close to you is what they call the aura field, right? Kind of that soul body, shall we say, right?
Right.
And that physically and mentally and emotionally impacts the physical body, and they've shown that all discomfort and dysfunctioning actually begins out there in that aura, when they have cameras and stuff now that can regulate the colors and see particles and see different things in that field,
Mm-hmm.
that would actually come and materialize into the physical body of something that wasn't healthy, right?
Right.
And so that's why it's really important you're thinking, right? The thought process, you
Mindset.
know.
100%.
Yeah.
You're
What the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve,
Oh yeah, a hundred.
right?
Yes, that's so it because where you think and when you're driving, it's the same thing, right? When you drive
Yeah.
it, wherever your mind goes, your hands go. Wherever your hand goes, your car goes. And so once your
Right.
focus change, the wheel on your car goes with your focus. So if you're on your phone and you're like this, you're right behind the driver at that same pace because stepped out of your mind and you're not in that state of clarity and awareness, and that
Right.
vibe is changing. Now you're forcing others people's vibes to change for kind of maybe the negative or to the bad or make them shift, right? But you can do a good thing, right? Maybe you could do a good thing by when you work out, right? Like you were saying, good nutrition, having lots of water, using your tools, your life hacks, and your vibes change.
Yeah, and when you begin detoxing the body, let's talk a little bit about weight and how that's impacted you, Nicole. You were looking to lose a few pounds, right? And to kind of firm up, and I think everyone can relate to that after being stagnant for a year plus, right?
And the gyms have been closing, but
Right.
my thing was the cortisol and the stress.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Stress, and it's been proven stress is the number one key that causes everything to snowball downhill, to go south, as we say, right? So, what happens when you add stress? And stress becomes so second nature to us that we don't even feel it. It just becomes such a part of our life. It's a natural thing. But your fight flight mechanisms are kicking off, and you're getting an overload of the cortisols and the dopamines and the melatonins, even the feel good hormones too much, then start creating the opposite effect,
Right. And
right?
for so many years, before I had my daughter, I was anorexic, and then there was years of doing that stress, um, being constantly moving, smoking, drinking heavy, going from that and having anger. And I would release it and just let my passion go. So let that trigger be because it was so good to release it. But now that I've change that anger and change that dynamic and change the way I eat, many things have changed. So much of that has multiplied, it's quantumized. So it's really concentrated now. And so
Right.
now it's the function of getting it out. So that whole change, and there's so much you have to change with that, is the mindset. It's
Right.
really the mindset. Where is your mind at? Because that weight is protection. It's a boundary for you to stop, like, hey, stop right here. Plus, there's so many life factors, hormones, having a hysterectomy, having fibroids and cysts, that makes you swell up and distend, and you're holding a heavier weight.
Right.
And when you change your nutrition and your emotions, for me, changing my not even really my nutrition is fine. It's the emotions.
Oh,
It's
that is so relevant because the emotions attach to everything and they cause inflammation. Stress causes inflammation. When you have inflammation, what happens? Things get pinched, right? And so that neurological system is getting pinched. And if so you look at it, if you've got it pinched because it's inflamed, you got the muscles and tendons and they're rubbing like this, what's going to happen? It's going to short up, right? So that's it's kind of funny when you talk about it, but this is serious stuff. This is what really happens and why things run dysfunctional. So when you look at that weight issue and why we protect ourselves, because we've gotten hurt, maybe we had a bad breakup, right?
yeah,
Maybe there was a trauma, maybe, we got raped, or maybe we had a serious accident. Maybe we had, maybe we lost someone really close to us at an early age. There's just so many things that set trauma
it's all
into
trauma.
effect, right? Which then adds to the stress. And then we try to recirculate the story so that we can like understand it. We can live with it. We can deal with it. Oh, I always hated that. We just
It's
deal with it. And it's like, what is deal with it?
or the last few years, no worries. And I'm like, well, there wasn't any worries until you told me not to worry or tell me to calm down. What do you mean calm down? I'm calm, right? I'm calm. I'm calm. I'm fine. There's no worries here. What do you mean? And that was
Uh,
my natural reaction.
right.
It was the guilt that I had been suffered in that trauma, that it was like, am I exuding calm? Am I exuding the opposite of calm, I should say,
Right.
that I'm showing that trauma.
Well, you
And
don't want to be in denial of
right,
what your feelings are either, but it's understanding them, cut loose and fancy free. Okay, that's one thing, but it's like, okay, why am I angry? Who am I really angry at? So it's always easy to push that off to someone else. When really in essence, it really is about the self.
right.
And it's okay to be angry at yourself and let it go.
It's okay
And
to
if
be
you're really upset
hurt,
and angry,
right?
yeah, yeah, and if you're that upset with somebody else out there, but you're not expressing it, you're not giving them a piece of your mind, you're not just, you don't have to go after their juggler, but you can talk and
You
say, hey,
know?
you know what? Yeah, not you have to. You can, but that's not always a good option. But it's letting them know that, wow, I'm really upset with you. I'm actually really angry. You said this. This is a false truth. This isn't who I am. What gave you the ability to reason, to do whatever, to say something like that behind my back? What did I do to you? So becoming that expression, otherwise you hold anger inside thinking you're going to hurt them by the anger that you carry. No. When you store it in here, it eats away. It just starts getting rotten and everything, and it gets bigger and bigger, right?
So drink the poison because you want them to die, right? We do
There
that
you go. That's pretty
because
much.
because we torture ourselves, and we think, many of us, I know for me, it was a pattern. Hey, I'll torture myself or get so angry that I feel the pain because
Right.
I'm already in pain, so I'm used to the pain. And it doesn't affect those other people. It doesn't affect them. It just
No.
mirrors to us and it pushes our triggers for us to say, okay, maybe not at that moment, but when you walk away and you're starting to kind of digress from that situation, from being really at war with yourself, you're starting to say, hey, why am I getting triggered? Where's the point that I'm getting triggered? Where's
Right.
that point? Where's my vibration at? Because it's all vibration. It's that awareness of your moods, what's going on, what drives you, because you bring it home to your family. And then, then it just pushes them out. And that we're all energy.
Yeah, it all multiplies so crazily fast. And, again, it actually takes a whole lot harder, time and more energy to stay in shame and depression and anger and frustration and all of that stuff
It's exhausting.
than it does to stay happy and enlightened and having a good time and joyful, right? And, so when you look at that, kind of look at it as this weight. So every time you get upset, every time that you have a negatively charged thought pattern, something that isn't free flowing and exciting and fun and all that kind of stuff, as taking a brick and setting it on your heart, or
Mm-hmm.
setting it on your liver, or setting it on your kidneys, or shoving it in your throat, right? So think about that. Every time you get upset, every time you get stressed, every time somebody does something that you don't agree with, that upsets you,
Mm-hmm.
you're adding more piles to this brick. So eventually what can happen, and it does happen, is all of a sudden we find ourselves getting bigger and bigger and expanding, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
So that weight has to go somewhere. So when we start cleaning that up, that can just disappear and it can stay off. So weight can actually stay off when you get the bricks out of there, or what's attached to those bricks, right?
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. So, so when you were working with the frequency little machine there and losing weight, right? So what programs were you using to help build up the body and to detoxify?
So I am loving this machine. We're on 7 days. I started running that there's a short blue, what you call a blue program. You know more of what it's called, Beverly. You're used to that lingo, but it's a short program that runs basically a minute and 20 or 29 seconds, and it sends out the vibrations. So I did fitness, I did really mental, emotional. And I started with the other program, which has the gold programs in it, and went through the same longer programs. So I had pain because I was holding that weight and that emotion. So I started with that, the management of that and the electrodes on that, and then went from that weight loss, mental anguish, emotion to the other programs. And now I can go basically to the blue programs and run the shorter programs, and then there's longer programs. The shorter programs, you don't need to even wear the wristband. So I can do those at first thing in the morning or later in the day, anytime I want. Take about 5-10 minutes. Um, Whether it's the nutrition or the salts, uh, sometimes I run all of them.
Well, yeah, and that's the nice thing about it. You can run as many or as least amount as you want. You can actually set it for a little longer than, a minute and a half. You can set it for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, an hour. You can set it for 8 hours. Like if your sister say you're having some really rough sleeping time because you've got major insomnia, you can run those programs to keep your body,
Did
out
this
of stress at night. Let's talk about these low frequencies before you say what you're going to say there.
right? Go ahead.
So when you're using the bracelets, you're getting a direct current, which is a different form of frequency,
And
right?
it's not a right now static. You're not really feeling the current unless you're a high frequency flying person.
Right. And the more you utilize the equipment, you're going to start getting familiar with those frequencies. You're going to start feeling them because your body is flowing, your blood is flowing, your oxygen's flowing. All those shorts that were happening in your electrical are going to start combining, and you're going to get really sensitive to everything. And it's like, wow, your food's going to taste different, your water's going to taste different. All these things are going to happen, which is really kind of cool. So when you look at it from that perspective, but with the cuffs on, you're getting direct current. It's just, every hit, it's just kaboom, kaboom, right?
And you
So
really, really, really don't feel it. You could sit here and do your work on the computer,
yeah.
go live. You're really not concentrating.
No, you unless you have the current turned up really high and you don't want to do that, just where you can feel like little pins poking and a little stinging. You don't want that. More is not better. And that's kind of, something that's dysfunctional in our population. More is not better. But if you could feel them or you could see them, it would be just like a little heartbeat coming like this, and it's just going to trigger it, and it's going to run up your electrical current, and it's going to go immediately into the cell, immediately to wherever that frequency is being directed. If it's being directed to your immune system, if it's being directed to your liver or your lungs or your brain or whatever the case may be. Then when you're on what's called a blue dot, so we got a pink dot and a blue dot. So the blue dot is a frequency.
Two separate apps.
Yeah, two separate apps. So the frequency on the blue dot does not take these, and it is like, look at it as a race car, like a drag race, right? It just goes zoom to get to the end, right? Because frequency move very fast. So when you're on the blue dot, what's happening? It's just coming, and it passes right through you and leaves what it's supposed to leave and keeps on trucking, right? Because those frequencies continuously move. So what the little Healy does is it grabs that frequency, sends it to you, and then sends it on its merry way because somebody else is calling, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the difference. Both of them are very impactful and very effective, in what they do. And so the whole shifting that takes place with these frequencies, whether you're getting directly or if they're coming through. And we have a third frequency coming here in June, and that's going to be involved with the Tesla current, which if you've ever seen the Tesla, right, and how it's going to show in the body, it's going to really start working in your quantum field a lot. And it's almost going to be like these little circles going around all over the place and just kind of like circling around you. I had an opportunity when I was in Austin to test one of them for the day. It oh it just it's hard to describe because you were just feeling so even keel. You could not get upset. You could not get you couldn't get down. So bizarre. You tried to think, something that would really upset you or whatever. And you try to get it there and it was gone. And it's like, wow, this is so awesome. But again, when you begin to understand frequencies, just like sound, our voice is a different frequency. How does people's voice affect you? Somebody's whining like this and they're talking about, this. Oh my gosh, I don't know about you, but after about 30 seconds, I'm ready to like either juggler it or run.
Right.
And then, so you've got all these different tones. Why do you like certain kind of music? Because all music, all notes are different tones. Right. So Mozart, when he created the music, Mozart has a lot of music that really works in the mental field and in the learning capacity. So there's a lot of programs that you can put on with Mozart that are, they just light up the cells in your body. Mozart for children, for babies. They'll sleep to that music. It makes them peaceful, and because they just got shot out of a dark little spot into this what's out here world, and so it just kind of gives them a feeling of safety. So all of these different things in life, what makes you feel good? Right? What makes you feel good? And those are the vibrations that you want to have around you all the time. And so the layers and the percentages of vibration and how we function is pretty intense. And that's why nature is always in harmony with vibration. So when you go for a walk, and especially if you're out in nature, your whole attitude just shifts. It has to, because you're getting bombarded with all of these harmonizing frequencies with nature, because nature always harmonizes itself.
Yes, it does.
So we can learn a lot when we can learn how to harmonize ourselves. And that little Healy is something that's going to really help us get in touch to harmonize and get back into balance where we need to be.
Right.
And to be able to have that affordable for every household. Wow. I mean, I've got equipment over here. I've been working with frequencies since the 90s and before, $25,000 investment. That was just one,
And you
right?
just carry it with you. I mean, this you just put in, I just put in the box and I go. I use
Exactly.
this on my clients.
Exactly.
I can use this on my clients on Zoom. When I work with a client, I have mine programmed, and because I'm an energy worker and so devout with it, during meditations, I program that signal in there with that Healy, that as I'm working with that client, just like in Reiki, that I am healing me. And any of that, the frequencies and energies that I put through that, I work with myself, that I bring the energies to me, that I bring those
Right.
energies as well
Right.
to me, that I share those energies. And so working with energy, you get happier. And working on clients, you get happier. You get more elated, jubilated, because you feel those frequencies with that client. You're sharing that one-on-one moment and having that relationship with them.
Right. And you have access to those frequencies 24/7.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's unlimited, totally unlimited. And you make a good point, when you're talking by sending those frequencies out. So Blue Dot, remember I talked about that race car? It's like a race car just going straight down the track.
App, guys, it's the Blue app that we put on our phone. So it's
Yeah.
an app. It's just an app that we program.
Right. And that sends it across the waves. When you're on the pink app, what we call the pink dot, okay, if that goes through the cuffs, that's present. That's on the person. He who wears the cuff gets the shock. Okay. When you're with the blue dot, you get the signature. So we all have a signature. Our name is our signature. Our blood DNA is our signature, right? So all of these things are a signature, so that we can, again, you have your intention and send that directly to who is looking to get that, right?
Oh yeah. And I use I use my right hand for me, my left hand for my clients if I'm not with them. And so I have that different way of running that program. You'll all have a different way. You're working with that person, that's that intention where you're pushing the energy to, and it's amazing. Especially in coaching. I love it, love it, love it for coaching, because when I'm working one-on-one with a client, the other day I was at a client's home, and
Yeah.
I put this on my client, set up the cuffs, put this on, and still consult her. And it's taken half of my time, because I don't have to stop and perform certain energy sessions where I can do certain things within the apps and within
Right.
the cuffs and handle that. And she was calmer talking to me. She's
Yeah.
more open talking to me. Easier, instead of I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I can't remember, I can't answer it, or why do you feel this way? What brings this emotion up? Well, I don't know. We put the cuffs on, started working with some one of the mental emotional apps, and now she's okay. Now she's just guided. She's right in that light, and she's right in that moment. where before I have to go into the energy field and work through that, and the client would be silent. And so now you can do like a 2 for 1, and it's so
Right.
amazing the information you get. It's just not really noticeable in that moment.
And it happens so fast because frequencies are fast. Okay. So the shift is really fast when you're working, with someone like that,
Mhm.
and like you said, because it stops the cortisols, because
Yeah.
people get nervous and then you forget, or it's like, I'm embarrassed. How can I buffer this, because we feel ashamed, or like somebody, is going to look down on us, and those are automatic responses, of the human race. And we've kind of had those experience all our life because we've been pointed at and shoved down, and it's
Yeah.
time to let that go. And
You
it
keep that
create it
out.
helps. Yeah, it helps create that safe space, right?
Right. You just hang that guilt, that shame, and those emotions that usually, when we're having a moment or doing some consulting with a client that I haven't seen in a while, there's emotions that are going to come up. And it's natural, but
Yeah.
you're able to release them easier.
Oh yeah, and the person themselves are like, oh, let's get rid of it, Yeah. Yeah,
And,
because they begin to see and feel that this really isn't serving me any purpose anymore.
but it's immediate. So instead of
Yeah.
having to talk for 20 or 30 minutes, you're freer allowing it to release.
Yeah.
If they're at that moment and it just boosts the release, you can hang that up and let it go. And you
Yeah,
get
so when you
right to the point.
yeah, when you think about that, just for yourself, not necessarily even for others, but just for yourself. How would that feel to be able to walk around feeling really good and keeping your thoughts positive? There's actually a program in there for positive thinking,
Yeah, huge, huge.
right? And everyone has different, results and experiences, and we can't share someone else's testimonial because that's just the way it is. Right? But
Right.
we could share experiences that we've personally had. And, once you really, and you don't have to have an encyclopedia worth of information
No.
to incorporate frequencies into your life because they're already here.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
not direct them in the avenue of where they can give you the greatest outcome, right? And learning how to use the little Healy. How long did it take you, Nicole? A
Oh,
day, 2 days?
to learn to use it, I just popped in the app and started pressing stuff. Right. I just go right in it. It was
Yeah.
really easy. Look, if you guys can go on Instagram, pop in a pic. What I love is the aura. And you guys, if you look at my Facebook feeds, Facebook, Instagram, you will see those aura pics that I have shown and put up there of myself. And it
Right.
gives you an aura chart of what percentage your aura is at. And then you do the little analysis. We can even email you one. I put the links in Facebook. So in the comment section, or there's a link to schedule the aura session, or just check the Healy out. Do it. I don't have to take a bag of crystals. I don't have to carry bricks around or a ton of oil. Just a little bit of oils. I bring that down because it's just natural, to bring that and soothe the client too. Help emotionally, just have it there. And who doesn't love a big boost of things? But I don't have. There's this huge like suitcase I don't have to bring with me to take to clients.
Exactly.
Just stuff.
Exactly.
And I just play with that. You can do the aura photo immediately. Uh, we schedule a session because, I put in there, it's free, it's complimentary, the aura session. And just go, we can do it over the phone, we can do it on Zoom, and just take a picture and I can email you. The Healy has the program in it where it puts all the stuff, it puts a PDF right away immediately. And I can email that to you. You can have that. You can feel that experience. You could feel that experience. So many people I know who do aura photos back in the day with a Polaroid or the new computer system that they would have to put their whole desk on and do the aura photography
Exactly.
and go through the class. Now I go,
Exactly.
selfie.
Yeah.
And that's it. You can even send a picture, take a Facebook picture if it's recent.
It
And
sounds so funny when you said, the Polaroids. Oh my gosh. I could never get a picture taken with a Polaroid because every time they would take it and it'd come out,
uh-huh.
it would separate like this. So so my energy was so high
Yeah.
that it would dissolve the chemicals and separate the paper. It was just, oh my gosh, it was crazy.
But if your energy's high on this, you just have to close the app out and restart it because that has happened. It'll stop and you just go back into it and the Healy remembers where you were.
Yeah, yes, you still have to remember you're working with technology to
Mm-hmm.
capture that, right? But it's
Gosh,
amazing.
it
It's
does.
amazing. We're coming up on an hour here. Can you believe it?
No, I can't because I love this thing. You guys, I'm posting every couple of days my journey just on the 7 days. What has happened, what's changing, what new gadget I found, what new program I found in here. Look for that, and you'll see that journey. This is the first thing, first whether it crystal oils, anything that was immediate and is continuous that I actually do. And I
Right.
remember to do. Thanks for the memory program. But it's
Thanks for
easy.
the memories.
When it's that easy, you're going to do it.
Well, and that is so true. And it's really easy to carry with you. You can take it to work, and keep yourself de-stressed at work. Oh my gosh. And when you look at the world that we are in today is stressed more now than ever it has been, and so why not do whatever can be done, and working with the Healy is giving you an opportunity to really bring it into the household very cost effectively. We're not going to talk money here, but if you're looking to get one, give it some serious thought. Reach out to myself or reach out to Nicole. There is a link there. You can go check it out. We do have a big special going on where you can save $1,000. Okay. But check it out. June, they're introducing some more fabulous things. It just keeps getting better and better. I've been in it now about a month and a half, and all the new stuff that has come through is mind-boggling, and it keeps getting better. That's all I can say. It just keeps on getting better. So take advantage of what's available, right now, and be a part of this company that is growing in leaps and bounds, and it's something that's never going to go away because frequencies will never go away.
No,
Right.
no. Now you can hone it in one machine. You don't have to have the big, large Tesla coil at the top of the mountain. And if 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 the machine, if
Yeah.
the Healy device isn't your thing and you're not sure about it, we'll do a test with it and let us incorporate it in a session.
Yes, just like you said, reach out and set an appointment. There's a complimentary, appointment there so you can actually begin to feel, that vibration coming at you, and what can actually take place on a one-on-one. There's a lot of information when it comes around, frequency, but it's not complicated. It really isn't. And that was what I just really enjoyed about the Healy, because like you said, it's plug and play, pretty much plug and play. And we have a team that always stays on top of it. If you have questions, you're going to get them answered right away. You don't have to know everything there is to know. All you have to know is how to turn your phone on, how to push the app, how to turn your little Healy on, and click and go is pretty much all it is. So it's very, very simple. I'd mentioned that $25,000 piece of equipment. I had to go to classes to learn how to use that thing. And there it was in depth, you know, and there was always education going on. So when I wanted to learn something about all about the teeth and how it impacts every organ of the body, that was another course you took. You know, there was a homeopathic course that you took. There was so many courses and on and on and on, you know. So you think you had money wrapped up in just the equipment? No, because trust me, all these courses weren't free, but that's part of doing business. So when you can get something in your hands as simple as this, that are going to make changes, because everything that I would do on that body scan machine would be for a month, programming. You can do this every day because your body changes, every moment. So if you're running different frequencies every day, you're going to get more supercharged and more invigorating and revitalized, and
Oh
just
my
begin
gosh.
to be at the top of the world, right?
Yeah. In six days, I went from doing a walk here and there, maybe going swimming or doing a little bit of yoga, to really, like yesterday, a 45-minute kettlebell workout, a 30-minute yoga. I went for a walk. I went, gosh, I don't even remember. And then, I did some live, I did some work, had some clients.
So are you finding yourself being more productive instead of busy being busy? You're being busy productive?
Well, I'm focused, I'm productive with my time, and I want to do it. It's not, oh gosh,
Yeah.
I scheduled it, I have to do it. But you guys, this is made for energy workers. So we all know when we hone in that light and you're being the lighthouse and you're working with others, we have that moment where we're connecting to our guides and we're really not uh, focusing on machines or what works or where our hand placement is. You push a button on your app.
Right. And
So,
it's not just
yep.
for energy workers either, Nicole. It's for everyone that wants to feel better, right?
Oh,
There are a lot of energy workers that incorporate equipment like this, but it was created and designed to be able to use in every household, and
yeah.
the simplicity of it to be able to use, for everyone. And there is no age, right? I mean, you can use it on an infant all the way up to, someone that's into the second century of their life. Again, it's in reason. You would not want to, like on a newborn baby, you wouldn't want to supercharge them like someone you would that's in a relay. Yeah, so come on, there's common sense here, right? But gosh, we could continue talking forever and ever.
Yeah.
And if you have questions, reach out to us. You want to have a session, hit that calendar link. You want to know more about the equipment itself, push that button. But whatever you do, give it some serious consideration to find out what it really can do for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Open up and enjoy it. All right, guys. Bye. We'll see you later. Really
Bye.
good for Frequency Friday.
Go out there and vibrate.